Today we're going to talk about 10 players who have been impacted by recent news, events, ADP, talk ball on them, advance metrics to market, and strategize around them for fantasy football. But before we do all that, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're talking about these players every day. We're doing a player list every day. We're doing deep dives on players every day. We're talking about strategies. In season, it's the waiver wire. We're helping you set lineups. We're helping you strategize the waiver wire in your lineups so you can maximize your team's potential and win your leagues. Click that button. Stop missing out. Our first player today, and it's just a batch of players really, but tank Dell, because we're looking at Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and then also CJ Stroud and Joe Mixon. All these players are very high in ADP, especially the 3 wide receivers. Which one are you taking? Tank Dell's the cheapest, then it's Stephon Diggs, then it's Nico Collins. Which one are you rolling with? Are you stacking them? Are you getting 2 of the wide receivers and CJ Stroud? If you're getting Tank Dell or Nico Collins, are you going with CJ Stroud? If you got 3 wide receivers this high in ADP and the market's this high on these guys, are you more likely to go after CJ Stroud? Are you more likely to do that? A round 6 pick, maybe round 5, 4, 6, 7, 8 in your league, somewhere around there. But a palatable price point, going in a spot of drafts where wide receivers tearing off, you can make some pivots around the running back. Maybe you can wait around and get another RB2 or whatever. Are you doing that? Because he pushes the ball downfield with accuracy. The market from ADP is saying, hey, look at these wide receivers. We got to draft them, and it's 3 of them. What other team in the NFL has 3 wide receivers going this high in ADP? And when was the last time that was happening? We got to think about this offense. We got to think about CJ Stroud. Joe Mixon, 5th round, 6th round, 4th round, depending on who you're playing with, that's where he's going in drafts. Underdog's a little bit cheaper. Home leagues is going to be more expensive. But he's another guy to pay attention to because that's another talent. But CJ Stroud, you're catching him at round 6-ish, QB6, so middle QB1 value there. That's kind of a good value considering there's 5 quarterbacks coming off the board before him. Is that something you want to roll with? Diontae Johnson, ADP-wise, middle rounds, probably one of the last of the wide receivers who's guaranteed over a 20% target share. And if you're drafting workload for these wide receivers, if you're rounding out your wide receiver depth chart, that's something you want to look at. Carson Steele is here. Are we drafting Carson Steele? Nobody is really yet. Some people on Underdog are with their last picks, and that happens. You'll see that with some of these young running backs who's popping off in preseason. He'll probably make the roster, be the last running back, last depth. Maybe if something happens, you're going to pull the string off waivers and get him. But pay attention to him. He is making some noise. He's looking good between the tackles. He can pop off some runs. It's the Isaiah Pacheco show right now. You don't need to draft him if you want to for a lottery ticket. Lottery tickets are lottery tickets. You just get your guy at that point. But again, you don't need to draft him. Pay attention to the Chiefs offense because everybody is anyways, because it's one of the most potent offenses of all time. Carson Steele, though, is a guy to pay attention to in season off waivers. Zack hasn't played it down in preseason. Is that an indicator that he's going to be the starting running back? Or are you going more Chase Brown? Chase Brown, to me, has more upside. Zack Moss is more dependable. And I've said this all along, and it looks like it's the same thing here in August, right before we start the season. But they just played their final preseason game. Chase Brown is getting run. Zack Moss, we're not seeing him much. He is making some highlights in training camp. Running backs don't get showcased as much in training camp. But I think it's going to be a tandem between the 2 running backs. And like I said, I think a video or 2 ago, when we were doing player lists, that we're not going to know till week 1. Chase Brown, you can chase the upside. Zack Moss, maybe a guy, a good dependable option if he gets the role. Austin Ekeler is going to be getting more targets than realized, I believe. I believe he's going to get good workload in the offense. Just saw him in some clips from training camp. He's got the pop and the step. Jahan Dotson's now gone. More targets should be going to the running back. They're trying to get the ball out quickly with the RPO game with Jaden Daniels to help keep him upright after the offensive line issues. Austin Ekeler could be getting more run in the passing game, more screens, more as an outlet, some quick passes. He might be back. Round 11 draft capital, RB40 off the board. It's not really a flag plant when it's that cheap, but he is a cheap option to look at. 80 Mitchell has upside here. Deep ball city, made some catches yesterday, a huge one, has been making highlights. We keep talking about him, but if you want a cheap rookie wide receiver with a lot of upside, this could be your guy. Jermaine Burton's been looking good in preseason. He's got a lot of upside as well. He made some plays yesterday. He's got good hands. He can get downfield, has a good release package. If he gets his opportunity somewhere down the line, he could route some fantasy points for you. It has been noted that he was more down the depth chart a few days ago, around last week. But also, he's looking good in preseason. You don't need to draft him, but you need to pay attention to him. Luke McCaffrey, another player impacted by the Jahan Dotson trade. Probably going to play in the slot. Might get some opportunities. This offense is looking to get the ball out quick, and he might be used as an option out of the slot. Cliff Kingsbury's offenses usually target the slot a good bit. Maybe he's a sneaky play. He is getting drafted an underdog. People are saying, hey, let's pull that lottery ticket. You don't have to. I don't think you need to. But other people are doing that, so if you want to follow suit, go ahead. That's your team. Courtland Sutton caught a huge deep ball from Bo Nix yesterday in practice. He's going to get deep targets, and he's played with bad quarterbacks before, so playing with a rookie quarterback may not impact him too much. Look at what he did last year. Maybe if you get something comparable, you get him in like the 8th round or so, middle rounds, maybe 7th in your home league, and you catch him at a cheap discount. Maybe you get a good return on investment. Maybe he gets a 20+% target share. He gets a lot of air yards, a good average depth of target in his offense. Maybe it's a little spiky, but hey, at this cost, wide receiver 50 range, and you need something steady, somebody that's on the field that's getting consistent targets, he's kind of the last guys getting it. He is. He's kind of the last guys that you can project for that. He's not going to win your league. Definitely not unless Bo Nix really goes ham. Unless that really happens. But if you need something steady on the cheap, he's one of the last guys that you can get that will get a steady workload to help keep the back end of your wide receiver depth chart upright. So he's a guy to look at if you want that. You can pivot from him, though, to get those upside rookie wide receivers or a running back. So where he's going at in drafts, you got a lot of options. But if you need that asset on your team, Courtland Sutton's one of the last guys to get. But those are 10 players we're looking at from recent news. Highlights, preseason, trades, looking at ADP. It's all right here. Click that subscribe button. Stop missing out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.